Hey guys, HW. I'm in beautiful downtown Leura, up in the Blue Mountains. It's been a long time since I've been up here. And the reason why I came up to give you a bit of look around what I think is the best part of the Blue Mountains. Yeah, there's Katoomba just there. Leura and Katoomba actually join in the valley over there. Yeah, there's Katoomba, and come up and do the Three Sisters and do the scenic railway. But I might be biased, but I reckon you should stay in Leura. Eat, drink and stay in Leura. So go see the scenery in Katoomba, but then come back to Leura. Leura's the gem of the Blue Mountains in my opinion. And today we'll get around and I'll do a bit of reminiscing because I actually have a connection to Leura. My family had a weekender, a holiday house up here. And I used to come up here, I was coming up here for like near 20 years. So I know the place like the back of my hand. So hopefully I'll be able to give you a bit of local knowledge, even though I didn't live here permanently. It was only a holiday joint, but I should be able to tell you a bit more than the normal tourist can. Oh, and I forgot to mention, the reason why I'm not talking directly in front of the camera is I got all the way up here. It's a 2-hour train ride from the city. Got all the way up here and realized I didn't have my bloody microphone. So I have to use whatever mic is available inside the GoPro itself. So I've got my mush right up against the back microphone, and hopefully it'll work out, because if it doesn't, I've spent 2 hours coming up here for nothing. The first thing I wanted to do was point out these trees on the medium strip here of Leura. These are actually cherry blossoms. They were planted in 1982. And you can see in that previous photo that I just showed before, the trees with all this medium strip was bare back in the old days. And now they've got the beautiful cherry blossoms. So if you can come up here in spring, it's a beautiful sight to see those cherry blossoms in action. And maybe I'll come back in the spring and do it one more time, old Leura. But I just spied something down the side street here, Railway Parade, that I want to have a quick look at first. But first we'll do the weather observations. In Sydney today it's going to be 30 degrees or 29-30 degrees Celsius. Up in the mountains it's always a little bit cooler. Here today it's going to be 26 degrees. The wind's currently from the west at 13 kilometers an hour. So I should be alright walking around here. Shouldn't get too sweaty because it's humid as hell down in Sydney. But first things first, let's get into Railway Parade because I've spotted a landmark of mine. Yeah, the first interesting thing for me over here in Railway Parade is where the old workshop used to be, the old Leura Garage. In later years it turned into a restaurant and cafe, and the for lease sign's up. So I don't know what's going on there. I don't know whether the pandemic killed it off, but I'm pretty sure I've come up since then and it was still open. So I don't know when exactly it closed, and even the joint next door's closed as well. So I'm definitely going to see a few changes as I walk through my old holiday hood. First thing we'll do, I think we'll have a stroll down the left-hand side of the Leura Mall. Oh, even this restaurant's changed hands. What did this used to be called? It's called Mr. Collins now. Yeah, this used to have a different name, this restaurant. If I think of it, I'll whack it in the text. That woodworking shop there's the same. Oh, this tobacconist is new. I don't recognise that. Oh, while we're here, let's make note of this. So something that's changed in the last few years is they've got metered parking in Leura now, which is crazy. There's a Red Door Cafe that's been here forever. You can sit inside or you can sit in this side little bit here. I used to sit in there. A few of these shops are the same here. But yeah, the metered parking. So there was always like a time limit on the parking here, but the meters weren't here. And that's just a result of where Leura's stationed. Leura's on the train. It obviously took me 2 hours to get up here. But for especially for new immigrants, so new immigrant areas like Blacktown and Parramatta, they're only an hour away in the car. So this is a real day trip opportunity for those new folk in Australia to come up and enjoy Leura. So you get them coming up pretty much any day, but mainly on the weekend and public holidays. And as we get around today, we'll see a lot of tourist buses as well from Sydney. But I'll tell you, I'll give you a local tip. The people that live in Leura and around the area, you know what they call the tourists and the people that come from Sydney? They call them terrorists. And what you'll find is they'll wait until like late on a Sunday night to do their shopping when all the day trippers and tourists have left. And when we get around to the supermarket, that'll be quite evident. They've got a few commercial joints along here now, like, you know, I can see here Witchery and Bed Bath and Table, but when I first started coming up here, there was none of that.
Do you think she's having a go?
And I'm trying to find the right location. Yeah, it's this one. So just here, that's a shop now called Papinel. I'm pretty sure this is where the old Goodfellows supermarket was, and it was the only supermarket in town. I used to go up the stairs there. They had a little deli in there as well. But then the big boys moved in, and now you've got a Woolworths Metro and little shopping centre in here now. And the Woolworths just put the old Goodfellows out of business pretty quickly. Let's have a quick look in here. Yeah, see, they got this bottle shop in here now, and big Woolworths. Now I found it quite handy myself when I was in the holiday house to be able to come up to a big supermarket like this. But at the same time, I had a lot of fond memories of the Goodfellows store. Just walking out of the back of the Woolworths now, and I'm looking over at a little house called Pickle Mouse Corner. And I remember my sisters and mother and also my wife too got patchwork quilts in there. The lady did some really good work. And she used to also sell fudge in there as well. I've got to go in there and see if she still sells fudge. Because it's glorious fudge. And there it is, they still sell fudge. Beautiful. Thanks very much, have a good... There's the back of the Woolworths Metro that we just walked out of. Let's get into the old Strand Arcade now. This is a real haunt for the tourists, the Strand Arcade, because there's a candy shop in there, lolly shop. Spent many a year with my cousins and various guests that we had at the holiday joint going in here, fishing through all of the candy. There it is, the famous Leura Candy shop. Candy store, lollies, we call them lollies. I was tempted to get some old-fashioned jelly babies, but I refrained. Look at all these different soft drinks they got in the window. Got a lot of different types, that's for sure. Let's sneak through the arcade here. Here's one of the cafes I want to have a quick look at for historical purposes. This one just here, the Wayzgoose Cafe and Diner. In 1957, Leura had a massive bushfire and something like 100 houses and a whole bunch of commercial buildings burnt to the ground. And this, I think, is the oldest one remaining, the Wayzgoose Cafe. You can see it's pretty old. Got seating out the back too now. In the old days they didn't have seating out the back here. But yeah, look, you can see the age on the building there, look. The old chimney. So yeah, this is one of the buildings that survived the 1957 fires. Yeah, this Wayzgoose Cafe, it does a mad Devonshire tea. And they serve the scones in like a massive flower pot, or like a ceramic flower pot. I'll see if anyone's got one. If I look in the window, nah, nobody's got one. Can't show you. Might flick in a photo if I can find it. But right now I've just got off the train, so I'm stinging for a coffee. And I'll take you to my favourite joint. It's none of the coffee shops you see along here.
Okay, so we've got a couple groups leaving, so it'll be about 5 minutes to clean up. Alright, thank you. You guys have a wonderful day. See you later.
Yeah, if you take that road there, down there, can't remember what the road's called. Oh, Megalong Street. Joins up with Bathurst Road eventually. The old Bathurst Road that takes you out west. I can't see across the road there, but there used to be like a really mad Thai restaurant over there. Don't know whether it's still there. And this joint here, I think this used to be called Kumquat or something like that, something weird like that. And it's empty. This used to be a big restaurant and cafe as well. And I had dinner in there a couple of times and lunch. You used to be able to come here and have a coffee in the afternoon or the morning. So it looks like it's changed hands as well. It's a big nursing home over the road over there. That's always been there. And of course there's a bunch of other cafes up in Leura town itself that I've frequented over the years, but whenever I come up here, or when I used to come up here, I used to always grab my morning takeaway coffee here. Sometimes sit in as well at the bakehouse on Wentworth, and they've got a sister shop up in Blackheath as well. So I might get in there and get a nectar now. I might even have a sit in one. Even this joint's changed a bit. There used to be a much bigger counter here with pastries and breads on it, and a big Oh, the pie and sausage roll heating thing used to be here. Might sit over here to have the coffee even though someone's left their pies and sausage rolls on the table. I'll take a view out the window while I consume the delicious flat white. Oh, the flat white has arrived, a large one. Here I am sitting in the window. It's got a nice taste to it. Could be a bit warmer, but it's a real chocolatey taste like I remember. So they're still doing good ones. Delicious. Ye old petrol Bowser, gas Bowser out the front of the bakery. In gallons. Golden fleece logo. I wanted to come over here and reminisce as well. Here's the old Country Women's Association Hall at Leura. Come here on the weekend, they usually have all stalls set out here selling fresh produce just here, and then they usually have some stalls selling trinkets and stuff and a bit of knitting and other sort of crafts inside. But I wanted to come down my old laneway, the old alleyway that I used to use to get up to Leura Mall proper itself. I love walking down here. But it's good to be out of Sydney, out of the heat, and enjoying the crisp air of the Blue Mountains. Over here I remember going to a big book sale over here at this building, or this church and building. That was the other thing in the 1957 fires. There was two churches that burnt to the ground as well. Don't know which ones they were. This video is not really about the fire today, just mentioning it because a bit of a historical fact. It would deserve a video just by itself, the fire. There's actually a few ruins on the other side of the highway at Leura where they had some really historic homes that burnt to the ground. And some of the ruins still stand there, or they were still there when I used to come up here. For some reason, this laneway or alleyway seems narrower than I remember. Don't know whether someone's put up a new fence and bleed it out a bit further or not, I don't know. Just behind me, coming from the west where the wind's coming, I can see some grey clouds. Yeah, this is definitely a new fence, this one, because I remember this part of the fence wasn't here. Cheers. Yeah, you can see the metal stakes. It's a new fence. I don't know whether you can see in the distance over there, but you can see a big smokestack. That's Katoomba up there. whenever I used to come up in the mountains. I don't know whether it was the mountain air or just the overall, you know, just the feeling of being on holidays or whatever. But I used to always stuff my face when I was up here, and then I'd get really guilty and have to go for a run. And even though it's like not on some huge elevation, I think Leura is about 950 meters above sea level or something like that, somewhere around there. You do feel it when you go for a run. It's definitely a different feeling running up here than it is in Sydney. But the elevation, sometimes it does see snow. But unfortunately for me, all the years I came up here, so like almost 20 years, I was never here when it actually snowed. The only times I've been up here when it snowed was I got one of those snow flurries. You get a little bit of snow blow over in the wind, and then like a little bit falling. I've been here a couple of times when that's happened, but yeah, never been here when it's had a heavy fall. That honour went to my sister. She stayed up here one weekend with my parents, and she woke up to the whole ground being covered in snow, so she's lucky. This joint here, right on the Johnny Horner of Balmoral Road, where we're about to head. I can't remember what this street is just here that I'm on now. But yeah, this house here, I've always loved this. Spent years walking past and riding my bike past. They used to have a really big black dog with a really deep bark. I don't know whether they've still got it. But it's a beautiful place, that one. Beautiful big leafy trees around the outside, big veranda. I was going to guess that it was Malvern Road, and it is. So on the corner of Malvern Road and Balmoral Road is that beautiful house. That's been for sale a few times too. I remember originally, I don't know, the original owner put it on the market and didn't get the money that he wanted, and so took it off and stayed there. I don't know whether he's still there or not, but it's a decent block of land and it's got a tennis court on it. Traditionally in Leura, all of these homes were all what we call weekenders, so holiday houses. But I guess in the 90s, people started moving up here, and some commuting to Sydney for work. But then during the pandemic, it really caught on fire. People started to move up here to live. Given work from home and all the rest of it, much better to live up here in these leafy surrounds than be cramped in the city. Now I just apologise again, as I'm talking into the back of the camera, you're picking up every breath I'm taking. So another disappointment for getting my bloody microphone at home. Something's jabbing into me in my pocket. Don't know what it is. Oh, here we go, I've got it. A bit of wood. I must have been wearing these shorts when I was chopping up wood. Yeah, so again, I might be biased, but I reckon Balmoral Road's the premier street in Leura. Some would say some of the houses closer up to the mall, but definitely I think Balmoral's one of the premier streets in Leura. If you head further up the mountains, if you go to Katoomba and even Medlow Bath. These were all holiday spots the Sydney siders used to come up to have weekends away and take in the there's a few bathhouses further up the mountain. People used to come and partake of the natural springs. I'm getting close now to what used to be HW's holiday house. Well, it wasn't mine, my parents' joint, but this is it over here on the corner of the laneway here, and you actually get cars down there. People have got houses out the back, but yeah, this is the old joint HW used to holiday in. Beautiful big bedrooms at the front. Bedroom at the front here on the left was my parents, and there was there was a green guest room there on the right hand side, and then a big dining room, kitchen, and then we had an extension on the back for another room that we called the pink room. But this joint over here, Carinia, a couple of times we had big family get-togethers, and a lot of the relatives came up from Sydney and some further afield, and yeah, and we'd hire this joint. So have the extra space. You used to be able to hire it back in those days. Now I think it's privately owned again. And I just remember my old man dragging all of the roast dinner and everything from that house over to that one where we had the Christmas dinner. But we only ever did that. I think we only ever did the Christmas there once. And I remember that particular Christmas was it was really foggy. It was like a bit of like Brigadoon action. It's just mist everywhere, and it was cool. It was only, I think I only got to 12 degrees that day, which is unusual because it is summer in Oz. But one of the things I wanted to do when I was here was go out the back of the old house and see if the blueberry bush that I planted is still there. I don't know whether I can see if it's still there or not. Had it planted just over here. I can't see it. Looks like they might have ripped it out. They must have thought it was a weed or something. This cricket oval just here, we had a few family cricket matches on over the years. I missed there was a big one year where we had a whole bunch of rellos up again, but my wife was sick, and so I had to stay down in Sydney. That was the year of the big Boxing Day tsunami disaster. It was that year. Whatever year that was, I can't remember. But we'll get out down here in a minute, and I'll get around and have a look at it's a bit of a tourist spot, but I want to see what's happened to it. Even this park over here, this is where there was a parking lot just here. Looks like they're redoing the parking lot, and they're redoing the toilet facilities over there. Has to be a really old dingy toilet block there. But during the day you do see a few campers in there sometimes, making use of those facilities. Looks like they're trying to hang on to the playground where my kids used to play, just there. On the weekend you come up here, this place covered with picnickers that have come up here for the day. I contemplated going down to Gordon Falls down the bottom of the valley there to give you a look, but they've got it blocked off anyway, so I'll have to take you to the next location that I was going to go to. Seeing that we're up in the Blue Mountains, we've got to have a look at them, so I was going to take you to one of my favourite lookouts. There's another look down Balmoral Road. You come through here in the dead of autumn and the road's covered with leaves from the imported trees, and it's just beautiful. All the different hues. Yeah, this joint here, this is the side of the old Leura Toy Museum. Massive big joint. Been in there a couple of times over the years. You had to pay to get in, of course. But out the back they had a massive shed full of model trains. Big grand staircase at the start there, at the front. And there's a big, it's on a really big block of land. It goes all the way down the road. You got a bit of a, you can imagine in the old days the coaches rocking up to the back and rolling through. But I did read that it was for sale, and it looks like it is. Yeah, there it is. They give you an idea of the size of the block of land. Massive. See, there's the house right at the back of the photo there, and the escarpment in the background, which is just there, which we'll have a look at in a minute. But yeah, this will be a pretty penny, this block of land, I tell you. When it used to be a museum, they had all toys down the bottom and toys up the top, and I can't believe it's for sale. Yeah, beautiful wedding reception joint. Now they used to have over here, they own this block of land as well, or they used to, and they used to make you pay to get in this little park here. It's just chained off, but you used to have to put a coin in there to get through the gates here. So that's part of that block as well. Massive block of land, crazy expensive. So here we are at my favourite lookout, Olympian Rock. Beautiful and peaceful. I can hear water rushing down there in the Megalong Valley. Beautiful bushwalks around here. You look that way, there's escarpment over there. That's Katoomba. If you keep following around, you'll meet up with the Three Sisters. Bit of a clearing down there. Bet you'd see a lot of roos and wallabies down there later in the afternoon or early in the morning. I've only been down in the Megalong Valley a few times, but not here. Further around, closer to Katoomba, there's actually a few communities down there. I've been down there to, there's actually a cafe down there. Yeah, beautiful, the old Blue Mountains. Now I've got to walk up all these damn stairs. And they're really narrow, some of the stairs. So if you decide to come here, make sure you hang on to the balustrade here. And I get my mountain goat trotters out. One last look. Yep, the stairs go on forever, folks. All the way up and down the mountains, all the way from like Blaxland, Wentworth Falls, Leura, Katoomba, any of these homes with escarpment views, pay a premium for those. But let's get back to the mall and have a look around. What was I saying about the cooler temperatures up here? Since I've been down to Olympian Rock, I'm sweating like a demon now. And it's gone a bit overcast, and I'm still sweating. Suppose I do have a backpack on today as well, and that's helping to overheat my back. But we'll get it. We'll have a bit of a walk along the mall here, and I'll show you a few more joints along here. Look at this ye old sign to Katoomba here. You can barely read it. It's wooded and painted, and this is a back way to Katoomba. There's the sign there. It's a pretty cool drive, that one. It's a very snaky road. I used to get down there in my, what I call a Scooby-Doo, which is a Subaru. I used to have a couple, I had a couple of Subarus actually. And I used to give the all-wheel drive a working out down that snake road. High beams on. A couple of times you'd see lost bushwalkers just making their way out of the bush late at night, walking along the road. Quite perilous to walk along that road. Not really any footpaths. All along here of the mall, all of these houses here, all these cottages are on really big blocks of land as well. And over the years I've seen a lot of them renovated, and they're pretty good craftsmen that do the renovations. They take their time and get all the little details right. I haven't seen the main one I'm looking for yet, but there was a particular one that was under renovation for ages and wanted to see how that ended up. This one over here was the one that I was interested in seeing. It looks like it's still under renovation. They were doing this one as well, but it looks like they've pretty much finished it. But this one, yeah, this one here is quite sizable joint. Looks like it's still being worked on. I see bits of working material there. Be nice once it's finished. But yeah, it's been under renovation for like decades. This is another good little park just off the Leura Mall. Bloome Pk. It's got some play equipment out the back for the kids. I was about to say brats. But yeah, especially on the weekends and long weekends, you'll see a lot of tourists in here. They'll pick up their lunches and snacks at the Woolworths and walk down here and sit in the park. Now I can see I'm a bit closer. It's definitely still a Thai restaurant. Let's get up on the other side of the mall now. We'll walk back up to the station. I'll do less talking because I'm sick of hearing my loud breath back using the back of this microphone. Now down here, this has been through a few different iterations. Remember when I first started coming up here, I think this was a gymnasium, and then it became a rock climbing joint, and then it became an antique, like an antique warehouse or store. It doesn't look like it's anything at the moment. Looks like it's all boarded up. Yeah, it's nothing now. There you go, another business bites the dust. Just here, right on the corner, used to be a little Christmas shop. Just there. But it's gone. I wonder if some of these businesses got annoyed at the parking meters and have since left because of that. Worried that day trippers and tourists would spend less time in the shop. This big liquor store's always been here. Pretty sure it was famous for having a really large wine cellar or wine collection. Chemist has always been there. Been in there many times, picking up different potions and soaps and health foods. That's another one of the premium sort of cafes in Leura, just here. Leura Gourmet Deli. It's got a beautiful view out the back. I'm not going to go in there. There's another big retailer that's moved in. At least the cake shop's still here. During the weekend, the tourists come and grab pies and sit out on the median strip here and devour them in the sun, especially in the winter when it's a bit cooler. Chinese restaurant's still here. Had many a meal in there. Supposed to get chips if I ever wanted them. Hot chippies, get them in there, it's still there. This building here with all the white bricks, that used to be the bank. That was a Westpac bank in there. I don't remember this Red Cross shop, that's fairly new. Just here, right on the Johnny Horner of the mall, was Le Gobelet, which was a French restaurant. Never got to eat in there myself. I think my mother might have eaten in there. But yeah, it's gone as well. A few tourists getting around eating ice creams now. Just right next to the station here, there's a little walkway up to the Alexandra Hotel. And this used to be the place to come for a hearty dinner back in the day. And you get a nice view over to Katoomba walking on this path as well. Yeah, the path comes out into the Alexandra Hotel just here. So you got a bit of beer garden out the back now too. I don't remember seeing that back in the day. Maybe that's a new addition. Or maybe it was always there, I just didn't notice. Yeah, lovely old building, the old hotel. There's a highway just there. Take you up to Katoomba. Yeah, had plenty of nice meals in there. Oh, for all time's sake, I've got to have a cheeky pie from the bakery. There it is here, curry pie. I might set up the camera and do a bit of a time lapse with the pie, and we'll look at the goings on the mall. There's the old bakery where that pie hence came. That was a curry pie, if you wanted to know. And I didn't like that, did I? Absolutely demolished it. A few of the punters starting to escape Leura. A few of the tradies heading home, and a few of the day trippers starting to make their way back to old Sydney town. Again, depending on what part of Sydney you come from, you can get up here in as little as an hour if you're flying, if you're driving fast. Otherwise, anywhere between an hour and a half and 2 hours for most Sydney siders. And then obviously on the train, for me, it was 2 hours. Look, even up here in the mountains, those bloody Indian miner birds are here. And definitely need to colour those. But yeah, I thought, given I've got the charging pack in the camera at the moment, so I thought I might charge it up, and before I get back on the Iron Horse, I'll quickly run around and show you my favourite cafes. Or the ones that are remaining anyway. Show you the favourite cafes to get a nectar in Leura when you come here. So hold on tight. My little cockatoo friend just came to join me for lunch. Look at this cheeky little bugger. Alright, quick skirt around the cafes. So my favourite joints to get a nectar. Red Door's one of them, but only really come up here for coffee. The Laneway Espresso, not open today. The Wayzgoose Cafe for Devonshire tea and a coffee. If I'm going to come up here for breakfast and a coffee, then I'm going to come to Lily's Pad Cafe. That's down there, and it's just out the back of the Woolworths Metro. So yeah, Lily's Pad Cafe. Breakfast and coffee. The Leura Gourmet Cafe and Deli. That'd be definitely a go-to. And obviously back in the day when it was open, the Leura Garage was a favourite. And then the one I showed you earlier in the video, the bakehouse next to the fire station. So yeah, now the video is definitely coming to an end. Thanks for coming on the skirt around Leura today. I'll see you in the next vid. The video is over.
The train on platform 1 goes to Central.